Hello boys and girls, thank you so much for joining me today with this yoga lesson. It's our first one together, so really exciting. Our theme is going to be Jack and the Beanstalk, so we're going to go through the story using different movements. The first thing you'll need to do is create a nice clear space. I've got my yoga mat here. If you haven't got a yoga mat at home, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure that there's nothing in your way. Nice big space to do lots of movements and stretches. I've also got my water bottle here. Although we're doing a nice calm activity, my muscles are still working, my body's still working. I might get a little bit out of breath, okay? So I've got my water there to hydrate and keep me refreshed, okay? So once you've got those bits, we're ready to start. Okay, so a little bit of an introduction, guys, into what we're doing today. We're going to explore different movements, focusing on flexibility and control in our bodies. We're going to explore how we can move our bodies in different ways, having fun with the theme of Jack and the Beanstalk. Our first practice is slow paced, and we'll focus on a few basic movements to ensure that everybody at home, whether you've done yoga before or haven't, can have a good go at this, okay? And see how you feel after, because I know for me, after I've done yoga, my body feels more relaxed, okay? I feel limber, which means that I can move a little bit more without pain. And as you get older, okay, it's a little bit harder to touch your toes if you're not as flexible. So it's really good to work on this when you are your age, okay? The whole idea of this, guys, is to have fun and let our bodies tell a story. Just going to take the kitten out of the room. Otherwise, she'll be joining us the whole lesson too. We won't get much done. Okay, boys and girls, I'd like you to start by finding a space at the top of your mat. Sit down, straight back, nice and relaxed, okay? I cross my legs, you can put yours in front or cross, whichever you prefer. So, first pose is called Wake Up Jack, and we're going to begin our story by getting Jack out of bed and ready for his adventurous day. To start, everybody should be centered. So when I say centered, okay, I'm not floppy and just lying down at home, okay, like I'm on the sofa watching TV. I'm in control of my body, so my core's nice and tight, my back straight, my shoulders are not hunched up, they're nice and relaxed. Drop down and take 3 deep breaths here, relaxing your shoulders on every exhale. So we'll start together. Inhale, breathe in. Followed by an exhale. We'll go again. Breathe in. And exhale. Really good. And one more. Breathe in. And exhale. Lovely. Did you feel calm? Yeah, I know I did. Right, lovelies. Moving on. We are going to curl ourselves up into a small ball, okay, with our backs curved up facing the ceiling, okay, foreheads resting on our mat. So watch me. Curl myself up into a nice little ball. I'll do a side angle as well so you can see what I look like. Head comes down to the mat. Palms on the mat. I want you to hold this for 3 deep breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And with every exhale, okay, feel all of those worries, everything going on at the minute, leave your body and go back to being nice and centered. That's really important, guys. Okay. And I sit out of child's pose for a moment just to move on to what we're going to do next, which is going to be stretching up and waking Jack up. So follow along with me, okay? We're back down into child's pose a moment. We're going to slowly roll our shoulders, our back, our neck up, slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. Okay, stretching my arms up as we go. Breathe in and breathe out. We're going to do that 2 more times. Breathe in, stretch really tall. Breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Feeling more awake. Well done, guys. We've done our first pose. We are going to move on to our second pose, which is called Find the Magic Beans. Okay, so that gives a little bit of a hint as to what we're going to do. We now need to go from kneeling to standing. So watch along with me, pause if you need to, and copy at home. So we're going to go from kneeling to a standing position. So we've just come up, nice and tall after our 3 deep breaths. I'm going to slowly and control. My core is nice and tight. I'm not floppy, okay? I'm really in control of my body. I'm going to come up to a standing position. I'm going to take 3 more deep breaths, just the centered stand in, and go 1, 2, 3. Hands come down by your side, and we are in mountain pose. Nice and tall here, okay? My neck straight, my chin straight, I'm aligned, okay? Not looking down, not looking up, not overstretching those neck muscles too much. Just feel calm and centered here. Wiggle your fingers if you need to, wiggle your toes. One last breath and feel steady on the mat, okay? We are going to explore our flexibility now, okay, reaching either side. So one side at a time, okay, I'll go right first. I'm going to slide my hand as far down as I can go by the side of my leg to feel that stretch in my side. Hold it for 5 seconds. And come back up. Going to move on to the other side now. Down my left side, hand slides down. And come up. I'll do that twice more on each side. Hand comes down. And see if you can creep your fingers further each time you go. Come back up. With this stretch, it's really important to not bend forward or backwards, but keep your body nice and aligned. So I'm going down the side of my leg. Once more each side. And come back up to centered mountain pose. Okay, palms face forward. Now I am going to bend over my legs in a ragdoll position. So watching me, I come forward, I stretch my legs down the front of my hands down the front of my legs, sorry, this time. And I become nice and limp here, okay? So let gravity take you here. Let your arms become loose, don't become too stiff and rigid. Nice and relaxed like a ragdoll. And I want you to swing your arms either side. Gentle to start with. Just get some movement in your hips. Okay? And not going too crazy. I'm not swaying to and fro. I need to be nice and controlled here. My fingertips just brush the mat to start with, and you'll find that you'll be able to touch the floor, the mat, okay, your flexibility will increase the more that you do this nice and controlled. But it's important not to overstretch and force anything here. It's a good test of your hamstring flexibility. Okay, come back up for me. Just a half bend. And have another go. Bend down, nice and floppy. Ragdoll, and stretching around. There we go. You can see from here. I'll go side angle for you. That's it. Okay, and we're going to take this into our next pose, guys, because we are going to find those magic beans that are lying out there in the ground. So, one moment. Finding those magic beans that are out in the floor. Jack's seen them. Jack's seen them. Can we reach? Can we reach forward? Can we reach the side control? Can we try and collect our beans up into our pot? I can do it. And try having a go with each hand reaching out. So when you get round one side, the other hand goes back. Perfect. I've got those beans nice and safe in my hands now, guys. Have you got your magic beans too? Okay, guys, that takes us into our third pose, which is planting the beans, because Jack's got these beans in his hand now, which he thinks are magic, and he wants to test that theory. So we're going to pop them into the ground. So come along, join with me. We'll see what happens next. So we are going to start by flowing from child's pose, which was the first one we did, up to tabletop position. So watch this. I come up straight in my arms, my knees are nice and square, my back isn't, we're not happy catting, sad catting, okay? I'm not overextending too much. Nice flat back for tabletop, knees square, hips square, okay? And that is our tabletop position. So do that with me now. From child's pose, up to tabletop. Now, I'm going to start with my right hand. You can start with either. We are going to plant our magic beans into the floor. This is a good shoulder stretch now. We've done lots of legs. So, taking one bean from my pot, I'm going to start at 12 o'clock in my imaginary clock that I've got going around me. So, 12 being in front of me. This is a good bit of time telling too. So, I take one bean out from my pot. My core is nice and tight, it's stable. I don't wiggle at any point. And I reach out in front and I put that one in. I'm going to go to 1 o'clock. Do the same there. Always come back to the centre each time to get a new bean out. 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock. And I might be able to do 6 o'clock without too much over rotation from my hips. So I could touch my toes, I could go back, but I'm telling my whole body, I don't want you to do that. I want us to stay nice and centered and reaching round as much as possible. So we're going to do the same again, but I'll do mine with my left hand now. In your own time, keep that core. It should be a little bit of a challenge if that core's tight. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lovely. Okay, nice and centered back in tabletop. I want you to take a deep breath here and recenter, because we're going to do it again, but we're going to do it again focusing on our deep breathing. Our inhale and our exhale. So, breathe in. Breathe out. Make sure that that back is still nice and straight, not overarched either way. Okay. Now we're going to do it again, but on every time we reach out, we're going to inhale, and then as we breathe it back in, we're going to, as we bring our arm back in, we're going to exhale. So do it in your own time or do it along with me. Out to 12 first. Right hand. Other side. 4 o'clock, 5 and 6. Fantastic. Do that once more for me, really focusing on that breath, guys. Okay, and I'll have a look at what we're going to do next. Okay guys, have you finished planting the beans like I have? Excellent. That means that we can move on to our next pose. And I'm not going to tell you what the name of this one is yet. You'll find out at the end because it'll give too much away. So, can I ask you to stand up? You're going to turn around and take 3 big steps to the back of your mat. I'm quite short, so my steps are quite small, so I might have to do a few more than 3. Okay, but just move a metre or so away from where you are now. So standing up, nice and tall. I'm going to take my steps first and then turn around. So 1, 2, 3. Look, I could do it in 3 and then turn around. Nice and controlled. Now we're going to close our eyes, keeping our arms in the air, stretch up really tall. You can even come up onto your tippy toes here. Hold that balance. Come down. Come up again. Hold that balance. Come down. One more. Hold that balance. Come down. Now you're going to count to 5. 5 in your head. Okay, when you turn back around, the most amazing thing has happened because the beans that we planted earlier have turned into a beanstalk and it's humongous. It's coming right through the ceiling. It's incredible. Okay, have that image in your head. Llama's already amazed, aren't you? Aren't you? You're going to climb this beanstalk with us? Not convinced. Okay, so coming up nice and tall, counting to 5. 1, 2, 3. Don't forget to breathe. 4 and 5. Turning around, controlled. The most gigantic beanstalk is in my living room. Is it in your living room, boys and girls? Is it at your homes? Is it at your school? Wow, the size, it's humongous. Now, taking my head from looking at the bottom of the beanstalk right up, we're stretching our neck now, so looking up as high as you can go. Once more for me. Neck down, roll it up, nice and controlled. Whoa. Gigantic, isn't it? We've got an overwhelmed cat here. She just cannot believe it. Right, lovelies. Now, of course, if we saw a giant beanstalk in front of us, our natural instinct would be to climb it because we're all super good climbers here. So, nice and controlled, core stable again, okay, engaged. We are going to take our leg, raise our arms opposite and climb that. Thank you, Llama. You could just move your tail. That'd be great. I'll do it for her. Thank you. Okay, we're going to take our opposite arm, opposite leg, and we're going to stretch up nice and tall. So, 10 of these, 10. Do it along with me. 1. Did you see how I wobbled there? Keep nice and strong. Keep nice and stable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really reach. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. Guys, we've reached the top. We've come through the clouds. It was so high. And we are going to stand. in amazement, but not just any standing pose. We are going to go into chair pose now. So this is where legs come together, okay? Knees together, bending nice and low. We are going to bring our hands up into chair pose. Arms come up here. I'm not super bent forward to start with. I want my back to be nice and straight. Get really tall for those fingertips and hold that for 3 breaths. 1, 2, and 1 more, 3. And release. Well done, guys. You climbed the top of the beanstalk with me. Okay, boys and girls, so we've climbed the beanstalk. We now, through the cloud, at the top of this beanstalk, spot the giant's castle. It's humongous, it's beautiful, but it's a castle in the middle of the sky and we're a little bit confused. So, now we've spotted this magic castle, we need to be really stealthy, okay? And we need to tiptoe around the outside of our area, around the outside of our mat if we've got one, twice, okay, 2 rounds, really quietly. If you're at home, your parents shouldn't even hear you tiptoeing, okay? If you're at school, your teachers shouldn't even have to look up from what they're doing to spot you walking around. So, along with me. Okay, boys and girls, we've managed to get to the entrance of the castle, okay? But we're a little bit frightened now, so we're going to go back into our safe child's pose. Okay. Come in, come down, head on the mat. Come up nice and tall, just to a kneeled sit, and we're going to open the big door that's in front of us, okay, the entrance to the castle, but really quietly. So reach out, either arm, that doorknob, turn it, open the door, put it right back. Oh, but we need a little bit more help, so we're going to do it with our other arm that's not so tired. Come forward, turn the doorknob, pull it back. The door to the magic castle's open. Okay, we're in the grand hall. There's nothing inside though. Big dining table with lots of chairs around it, but nobody. It's deserted. A big feast is on the table, but there's no one around. So Jack creeps in. Okay, we're going to creep in twice more round our mat. Creep down, we go under the table. Okay, come into child's pose again. Take 3 deep breaths here. 1, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and 1 more in and out. And on your exhale, you hear a fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Jack can hear big, loud stomps. Can we stomp? Stomp. Now we should be making some noise with our big, heavy stomps. 10 of those. Keep going. 10 of those. Okay, back from being the giant, we go back to being Jack a moment, okay? Back into child's pose, hidden under the bench. Now, Jack looks up, just a little bit, just in front of him. And oddly, he sees a magic hen walking, okay? In front of him. It goes back and forth a few times, okay? It's just under the table. Now, Jack thinks that's an odd thing to see. A magic hen in a magic castle. From a magic beanstalk with some magic beans? I think I'll have a look at that. So he reaches his arms out and he grabs the magic hen in, holds it tight, okay? Holds it tight. Nice and close to him. I want a big breath here because you've got the magic hen, you feel a little bit safer. And breathe out. Okay guys, so we've got our magic hen in our arms. We can still hear, see Yogi? We've got it, haven't we? Yes, we can still hear the giant stomping in the background and we need to escape from the magic castle. So, along with me, I'm going to stand up, still holding our hen, okay? And we are going to climb back down the beanstalk. But it's a little bit trickier now because we've got our hen in our hands. So, we are going to tuck that hen under one arm. It's nice and safe. Going to reach up and climb back down. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Swapping where the hen is every time for 10. Keep going, guys. It's okay if you lose count like me. Just keep going. There we go. We're down. We're at the bottom of the beanstalk and we look up. The giant's coming down. Okay guys, well done. Jack's safely at the bottom of his beanstalk with his magic hen for now. It's time for us to channel our inner giant and do some big stomping movements again. So, coming onto the mat, okay, take legs slightly further out than shoulders, okay. Toes pointed slightly out, okay, not dead straight as well. Okay, and we're going to bend nice and low into a squat and hold that for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back up. Do 2 more of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And come back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From here we place our hands on our hips and we do 10 big stomping movements with alternate legs again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow. Yours were excellent. Okay, boys and girls, we've finished being our big stompy giant. I'd like you to hold a pose now. Big wide squat, bend down into it, hands at heart, and hold this with me while I speak to you because that is the end of part 1 of our Jack and the Beanstalk yoga. Keep tuned, okay? See when part 2's coming and join along with me. In the meantime, run through this video a few times, get really, really good, and send in your little yoga routines to us so we can see your progress. You're doing amazing, guys. We're all in this together. Bye from me.